Now we come to the second part of the lesson, which is about something called a series. The best way to describe a series is to understand how it is different than a sequence. A sequence is made up of a list of numbers, 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12. A series is what you get when you add up the numbers in a sequence. We describe a series using this Greek symbol right here, which is the Greek capital letter sigma, which in mathematics means the sum or add it up. Anytime you see a sigma, there will be a number below and a number below. Those are called the indexes. The starting index is 0. And so that means that when I do my sum, the first number that I'm going to plug in here for I is 0. So we'll have 2 times 0 plus 1. The top number is 6, and that's our stopping index. And so if the stopping index is 6, that means that we're going to plug in all of the numbers from 0 to 6. So that would be 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. That would look like this. 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. So we're looking for the sum of these 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 values, which would be 1 plus 3 plus 5 plus 7 plus 9 plus 11 plus 13, which adds up to 49. Let's do another one. In this case, we're starting with I equals 1 and going to 6, where we're going to plug them into 64 times a half to the first power. So 64 times a half to the first power would be 32, plus 64 times a half to the second power would be 64 times a fourth, which is 16, plus plug in a 3, 64 times a half to the third, which would be 64 divided by 8, which gives us 8, plus plug in a 4, 1 half to the fourth is 1/16, so 64 divided by 16 is 4, plus plug in 5, you get 1 over half to the fifth is 32, 64 divided by 32 is 2. Finally, plug in 6, you would get 64 times a half to the sixth is 64 times 1/64, which is 1. So we get the sum of 32, 16, 8, 4, 2, and 1, which is 63. Fun fact, if you like NCAA basketball, this is actually the number of games that are played in each round. 32 in the first, 16 in the second, 8, 4, 2, and 1. So the total number of games that's played is 63, which kind of makes sense when you consider the fact that there's 64 teams in the tournament. I'm ignoring those weird little games. And everybody loses one game except for one, which means there must be 63 games. Next one. All right, now we're going to relate this to some of the things that we've been doing during this unit. So we've got a combination. We're going to plug in 0 through 4. So we would get 4, choose 0, plus 4, choose 1, plus 4, choose 2, plus 4, choose 3, plus 4, choose 4. And now I really want to encourage you folks to do as much of these as you can in your head. For instance, for this one, this says I have 4 objects. How many ways can I choose 0 of them? There's only one way that can happen. And then this one over here says I have 4 objects, choose 4 of them. And there's only one way that I can choose all of them. And then this one says I have 4 objects, choose 1 of them. Well, if you're going to pick one of 4 things, there's 4 ways that you can do that. And then this one right here says I have 4 objects, choose 3 of them. Or in other words, choose all of them except for 1, which means there are 4 ways that I can choose all of them except for 1. Only this last one in the middle here do we really have to say, well, that's 4 factorial divided by 2 factorial, which is 6. So we get 1 plus 4 is 5 and 5 and 6. That's 10 and 6 is 16. Which is actually equal to 4 squared. Huh. It's also equal to 2 to the 4th power. More on that later. All right. I'm actually going to be quiet for a minute. I want you guys to try to set up D, and then you can check it in the next video.